Disney seems pretty committed to sequels, prequels, and a non-stop onslaught of remakes. What's really disappointing is that there are plenty of Disney properties that actually do deserve their chance in the spotlight. One of Disney's best ideas was to take inspiration from their long history of theme park rides. That's how we got Pirates of the Caribbean. I think that did pretty well, if I remember correctly. So why shouldn't Disney look to its amusement park attractions of the past for their next big hit of the future? And when it comes to the future, how about Disney digs up an idea that could let them boldly go somewhere sci-fi fans would love? I'm Drew Deitch, this is Giant Freakin' Robot, and this is why Disney needs to bring back Body Wars. Body Wars is something you either remember fondly or have no idea about.
The beginning of wisdom is, I do not know.
It was a ride at Walt Disney World Resort's Epcot that took you on an adventure through the human body. Running for 16 years, the attraction closed on January 1st, 2007, and has been missed by a generation of Disney fans ever since its closure. But there is a way for Body Wars to return in some form. In fact, it should be resurrected by Disney as a way for them to craft their own Star Trek-type property. Before we explore the specifics of that, we need to look back at Body Wars and see that there was already a lot of Star Trek present in the original idea. I mean, this looks more than a little familiar. The Body Wars exhibit was a motion simulator ride, similar to the original Star Wars attraction, Star Tours.
To fasten the restraint, pull the strap out from the right side of the seat and snap it into the console on your left.
The story involved a group of civilians being part of an observation team led by MET, M-E-T, Miniaturized Exploration Technologies. The civilians, the part-goers, that would have been you, were shrunk down and would enter a human body. Naturally, the mission is meant to be a simple and safe outing, and things go horribly awry so that an exciting thrill ride can happen. What was really intriguing about Body Wars as a piece of entertainment production is how it was clearly attempting to riff on the same sci-fi look as Star Trek: The Next Generation, which had premiered 2 years earlier and had become a critical and cultural hit. The film used for the actual ride was directed by Mr. Spock himself, Leonard Nimoy.
Hello, I'm Leonard Nimoy.
As you can see, these segments look eerily similar to the design and style choices from that era of Star Trek. It's very possible that those diagrams in the background are the beloved Okudagrams that came to define screen layouts in Star Trek for many years. This is all to establish that Body Wars already has its origins in Star Trek. And although there was never anything else made from Body Wars during its tenure at Epcot, it's now a totally dead property that Disney is just sitting on. And with the real Star Trek franchise looking like it's at something of a crossroads, Disney has a chance to make something new with their own sci-fi action idea. With the plethora of remakes and reboots that Disney is involved with, it's often frustrating to see them do nothing with properties that have actual promise. Instead of making live-action versions of their animated classics, why not look at something like Body Wars instead?
Hello everyone, I'm Captain Braddock. I'm glad you'll be joining me aboard Bravo 229er.
Take a property that hasn't been utilized to its full potential yet, and give it to creators who could really run with it. The first thing could be turning Body Wars into a blockbuster feature film. We've certainly seen Disney go for broke with these kinds of attempts in the past. Remember Tomorrowland?
How is this a good idea?
Of course you don't. As a movie, Body Wars would probably lean further into the bombastic action of its premise, and we might end up with a film that feels like modern-day Star Trek. Plus, you'd have to do something with a movie that made it feel special beyond its shrinking premise. Otherwise, it will just come off as another riff on Fantastic Voyage. Instead, the best outlet for Body Wars would likely be Disney+. It could still be a single movie, but scaling back on the budget and scope could actually be beneficial. There would be a need to focus more on the science fiction of the premise rather than the excessive action that audiences would expect from a theatrically released feature film.
It's all lies, but they're entertaining lies. And in the end, isn't that the real truth?
However, the road that seems like it would be the most potentially successful is making Body Wars into a series on Disney+. Live action or animated, an episodic adventure would better capture that specific Star Trek energy.
I don't need your fantasy women.
Each week could involve a different kind of medical mission that the crew has to be involved with. There can even be over-the-top sci-fi ideas like, I don't know, nanobots that go rogue inside of a patient. I mean, the story possibilities are limitless. And much like the Orville, but without the deliberate comedic foundation that show used, Body Wars could be presented in a retro-futuristic style and tone that pays homage to the classic era of Star Trek. We know fans enjoy that aesthetic. Look at how happy everybody was when the Enterprise D came back in Picard Season 3. And if modern Star Trek is going to lean into more of the post-J.J. Abrams visual style, Body Wars could adopt its own riff on classic Trek tone and presentation.
It appears that we will remain Vulcans indefinitely.
An episodic series could also have some kind of semi-educational angle in every episode.
Not a hole, Keisha. A valve.
Considering what the world has been dealing with in recent years, it's clear that we need to instill in younger generations a healthy curiosity and desire to learn about medicine, the human body, and how it fights disease and infection.
Your temperature's dropped almost 8 degrees.
Star Trek inspired generations to become excited about space travel. And Body Wars did the same thing for medical science, with kids who wrote it all those years ago. It would be great to see that mission re-energized in the era of streaming.
This particular probe will be going just below the skin to the site of that bruise so that its crew can study how the damaged cells are repairing themselves.
Disney has a perfectly good basis for their own Star Trek-type property in Body Wars. It's an idea that could easily be configured to fit in a familiar Star Trek mold, while shifting the focus to the science of the body instead of the science of outer space. And if it meant that Body Wars became popular enough to get a new version of the ride back at Epcot, that would be a joyful boost for anyone that's nostalgic for this near-forgotten piece of Disney history. Do you remember Body Wars? What defunct Disney rides do you think could make a good movie or streaming series? Should we make more videos like this? This was fun.
The world needs laughter.
Let your voice be heard in the comments and make sure to subscribe to the channel.
Did I break the seltzer chugging record?
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you here next time on Giant Freakin' Robot.
What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything.
Didn't I?